down. I know you care for me. I know you care for me. A lot. You write me little texts. And you are effusive with your sentiment. You regale my heart with your noble words. And I am forever indebted to you for the charismatic expression of your love, and I would like you and the rest of the world to know that it's not lost on me. So this is a formal and very public avowal of my gratitude. Unfortunately, because I'm so dissociated, I know what to say. I Googled what to say after I received your message in Messenger, and instinctually, I didn't have any response. I was completely indifferent and apathetic about your gushing declaration of my virtue, your insurmountable praise of my character. I simply had no response. Apathetic. Pathetically apathetic, I must say. But I do have Google. And so I Googled. I was like, how do I respond to someone who's being so loving? How do I respond to someone who's being so loving in Messenger? Now, mind you, this wasn't a girl, a woman, a lady. No affection in the romantic sexual sense. Nothing like that, just a friend. A very, very, very intellectual friend who knows that I am very, very, very intellectual myself. Now, I suspect, though I cannot prove it and demonstrate beyond a doubt, that my friend actually Googled how to send a loving, gushing, effusive, praise-laden message in Messenger. He doesn't know how to do that. He is very, very, very intellectual. I surround myself with the finest intellectuals. We have a camaraderie amongst us on the internet, namely Facebook, and we spend a lot of time in our intellects. We are very, very, very intellectual. Some of us are very, 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 very intellectual. That's intellectual to the fourth power. Each intellectual multiplies the subsequent intellectual exponentially. So by the time that you're at intellectual to the fourth power, this is really the cosmic mind. It's like Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. He's got the 6 Infinity Stones, and he can basically cognize the hell out of the universe. He is the cosmic genius of infinite sentience. I have got friends like that. They are very, 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 very intellectual. Now, there is one of us who's pushing the frontier of intellectualism. He is very, 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 very intellectual. Now, he does have issues, because when you get that intellectual, you don't got much left. I'm sorry, you're constantly on Google. You're constantly Googling how to be a human, right? Because you got everything else figured out. But your dissociation is so extreme that you barely even know that you're dissociated. This is the perennial problem for people who are very, 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 very intellectual, not to mention very, 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 very intellectual. They just don't even know how dissociated they have become. Now, we do have a support group. We do have a support group for you, if you happen to be one of those individuals who is so exquisitely intellectual but utterly ignorant of your dissociation. Now, what do I mean by that, and what is the solution to the so-called dissociation? I'm not saying that there is a solution to this dissociation, because the problem is the smartest people that could solve the problem of dissociation don't even know it's a thing, much less know that it pertains to them specifically. I have done my best to be very, 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 that's very to the 6th power, intellectual about my dissociation. Trying to figure it out from every single holographic angle, where every surface is a refractive and reflective solution to the problem. So that you can imagine there's this network of perspectives that are constantly shining sentience upon the core problem, which is my dissociation. And I have got this entire universe of meaning at my disposal for my dissociation. But it's all up here. I can't get out of here. I just can't. I can't do it. So I found one clue to my predicament, one clue to my condition, one clue to my problem. I am just as absorbed in my intellect as, let's say, a fundamentalist Christian is absorbed in Jesus Christ. There's no getting out of it for me, because every time I try, it's just another intellectualism about how dissociated I am as an intellectual who's very, 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 very intellectual. The dissociation consists of a radical immune system that is impervious to feedback. Impervious to feedback. Impervious. Imagine that game. I think it's Asteroids, but if you don't know Asteroids, it might as well be Galaga, and there's incoming feedback. And you nail it, you shoot it, you destroy it, you annihilate the feedback. That you are lost in your dissociated intellect. And that there is no hope for you upon the great sea of life that's this tempest, this maelstrom, this hurricane that's tossing and turning. It doesn't matter. You are in the lifeboat of your intellect. You're not going to sink. You're not going to. The cognitive immune system of the dissociated intellect annihilates every perspective with a superior perspective, but doesn't realize the entire orientation is utterly inferior. Because you're only living up here, but you don't know it. What happens, the symptoms, I've been told, I googled it, is that there is this banal mediocrity that settles across the landscape. Everything is neutral. Everything is integrated. Everything is explained. There is no personal investment in anything. There is no instinctual reactivity. There is no overwhelming emotional response. Like, for example, disgust. There is nothing of this nature because all of it is fundamentally invalid and easily intellectually deconstructed. Because we are very, 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 very intellectual. There is no problem that we cannot destroy before it affects us because we're playing cognitive asteroids. The mental lightning. Oh my God, can you see it? Blitzing across the sky. It's unbelievable. I've seen it before. It's like that sheet lightning that sparks across the billowing clouds of the evening sky. It's so gorgeous. I'm a dissociated intellectual. I am very, 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 very intellectual. Nothing gets under my skin. I am not passionate because passion is a problem, because passion disgusts me. I am not incarnated. I am not bestial. I am not animated. I have no feelings. I am intellectual. I destroy everything that comes my way every single day. Now, you may think that I was quite lively right there. I assure you that I was not quite lively just then. I Googled all that. Okay? I Googled everything I just did. I memorized what was on the screen because I'm very far along on the autism spectrum. And then I went home and practiced it. Okay? I practiced what I just said for hours on end to give the appearance of being a passionate person, but in reality I am very, 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 very dissociated. I am exclusively identified with my intellect. I cannot be affected by anything, much less my very, 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 very intellectual friends who are islands unto themselves, supercontinents. We have all of our needs taken care of. There is nothing that we cannot annihilate. You must understand something. If you can kill everything with your mind, because you are very, 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 very intellectual, you need nothing because everything can be deconstructed with your intellect. You do not have to feel anything. Okay? Because that's inferior. You know what that is. That's reality below here. You know it, and I know it, that there is only mathematical precision. And when we are quite fortunate enough to map atop that mathematical precision an intellectual cartography that is exactly commensurate with every single variable and equation and conclusion of this mathematical system, then we've got it all figured out, and we are very, 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 very correct. Don't doubt it. There is nothing that I've said tonight that is wrong. If you think that I'm wrong, you're not dissociated enough. Because the key to being right is to be so dissociated that you just can't be wrong. Because you can annihilate everything with your mind. There is no other alternative for people like myself who have so insulated ourselves, us, me, all of us, we're so insulated that there's no point in living any longer. We've outthought existence itself. We have invalidated life with this guy. So we do not know why we are alive. We just happen to be very, 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 very intellectual. We do not know why we are here. We do not have feelings, because feelings are inferior, and feelings can be deconstructed as the ephemera of a wounded soul. We're not wounded souls, we're dissociated intellectuals. Nothing affects us. We don't know why we're here, but we found each other, and we have our extensive network. It's global. And we are reaching for the stars, all of us. Now, I told someone recently, I was at the bank, my local bank, and I had put in the ATM card. And the bank gobbled it up. I was having an emotional response, and someone was behind me, and they just put their hand on my shoulder, and they said, "Let it out. Let it out." And I'm like, I can't let it out. I am very, 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 very intellectual. I can't let it out. I want the bank to let it out. It's a real problem for me. Everywhere I go, I feel like humans want me to be something that I'm not. They want me to be like them. I can't find the meaning of life if I'm like other humans. I have to be something different. I have my coterie of intellectual friends online, and we send a lot of messages back and forth in Messenger, and we have our private Facebook groups, and that's enough for me. But apparently, everywhere I go, people are suggesting that I do something different, that I not be me. And I told this person, this lady, I don't know the meaning of life. Life doesn't have meaning. There is no truth. There is none of that. This kind old lady's like, how do you know? how do you know you're right? And I said, I know. And it's like, I was haunted with that afterwards because I said to myself, how do I know that I know? People are like, well, I know this, and other people are like, I don't know that. And I'm like, how do you know that you know? How do you know that you don't know? How do you know? And when that happened, I could feel. I could feel. Everything underneath my neck started to crumble and collapse. And this entire column opened up in the center of my chest, and it went down to my cock, into the ground, throughout the earth. And all I could think about in that moment is that I didn't know how I knew. I was there with my intellectual friends for eons, and we just seemed to know everything. And then this innocent lady just asked me, how do I know what I know? I think I'm gonna have to leave my dissociated friends who are so very, 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 very intellectual, because I do know something. I do know that I don't know. And if I can know that I don't know, then someday I can know that I know.